Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the daily Roundup webinar. Hope everybody's having a great trading session. Happy day before non-farm payroll. I know we're all waiting for the jobs report, but the FX market is not waiting for us, and that's what we're dealing with right now. Is we got stocks that are, they're higher, but the dollar is a little weaker, and I think that's it caught me off guard. I didn't expect us to move as far as we have. Like the cable broke out. I think, I look at this, it's like, okay, were those just easy stops? Above the highs, taking out all the people that were short up against the 138 level. You take currencies like the Kiwi, the Kiwi broke above 71 cents, hit the 200-day moving average, by the way. And you can see we're probing the 200-day moving average. So where we're at by the end of the day, I think is going to tell us a lot. Couple things that I'll go into that here in a second. Euro dollar, it's probing into new highs, trying to break out. It's really trying to break out. I thought, after hitting new highs here above 118.55, 60, it was going to pull back, but it's still, surging higher. Now the issue that equities have right now is the Nasdaq just hit new lows of the North American session. So if you, if you're sitting here watching the North American session, this is the lowest we've been in the Nasdaq. Now that doesn't mean it's bearish, but it is probably starting to weigh a little bit on sentiment, because you can see the S&P, even though the S&P is obviously at all-time highs, or you can say it's probing resistance here. It's building the case that we're going to be range bound going into the jobs report tomorrow. So if that's the case, and the S&P comes, I don't want to say it's going to come all the way back down here, but it could. I mean, we could trade back to, like, let's just say 45.20, 45.25, somewhere middle of the range, if you will. Then what happens to the dollar? My opinion is that you're going to see the dollar firm up a little bit, and then you're going to see the euro probing the resistance, comes back down into mid-range, if you will, gives us a little false breakout. Maybe the cable, slips back below 138, which I hope, because I actually shorted a little bit of sterling. I shorted a little bit of sterling 12 pips ago. So, I was trying to catch the very top of this range. I'm not going to risk a lot, but it's a small position anyway. Just trying to position myself ahead of tomorrow. But you can see how the dollar Canadian kind of pushed below those lows. I think the dollar Canadian, if we can get back above like 125.75, it'll be a little false breakdown there, but we're not seeing it yet. Now, what I was going to say, and what I will say, going back to what we were just, what I was going to say something, and then I said the hope, if you're a dollar bull, one of the hopes is you're seeing emerging market currencies come under a little bit of pressure. Look at the US dollar, South African rand. I mean, this is kind of a big level of support. You can see it was a false breakdown before. False breakdown led to a big rally, right? So we're back at that support basically from back here in July. We spiked up pretty aggressively, and we broke a lot of resistance. So now, regarding the rand, we've made higher highs, and I think if we can make higher lows, that's going to feed into the narrative of maybe some risk aversion. Then you look at like the dollar Mexican peso, which I happen to have a little bit long. I owned it from yesterday around my cost average is at 20. I haven't added to it, by the way. And, we're almost back at 20. So the emerging market currencies are acting a little weaker, which would complement or maybe reaffirm to us that, maybe we see a little bit of profit taking in the stock market. And that's kind of how I view things. And then also, I guess I should also point out, let's go to, not Bitcoin, gold and silver. Gold and silver are near the lows of the session. So you can see gold kind of driving lower here, which would spark some dollar strength if gold starts to pull back a little bit. Silver too, silver's, approaching that 23.75 support that we marked up earlier this morning. We break through that. I guess you could probably do this with silver. I'm just, giving you guys some ideas here. Especially if you're like a precious metals trader, like, silver breaks through the support. By the time that happens, like, let's just talk about Asia, maybe in early Europe, we might trade from, 23.75, maybe back down towards this support at 23.30, 23.40. I think that's entirely possible, right? So, I'm not sold. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say here is I'm not sold on US dollar weakness at the moment, but we are seeing some, right? We are seeing some there. But that's pretty much it. I mean, it's quiet, it's slow. We've got non-farm payroll tomorrow. I think non-farm payroll is going to be the market mover. I think people are still a little lackadaisical of what the Fed will do on tapering. I really think that, any data that's pretty close to the number, let's just say 700,000 jobs tomorrow, somewhere in that neighborhood or better, is going to incite some fears of possible tapering coming in the markets. I think that is a risk, right? Anything below that, we create 500,000-600,000 jobs. People are going to be bummed out that we're just not creating that many jobs, and you're going to see a spike up in stocks, and the dollar is going to weaken. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to, in my opinion. Real quick, I just, since I did take a look at the S&P, just kind of give you a view of, that range right at the top that we're looking at. There's the Nasdaq trying to find some resistance. Here's the Dow, struggling, even though it's higher, but we're still, we're failing to hit all-time highs. I know Amira may look at the IWM or want to see that. Hold on, let me just see something really quick. Hello. I mean, we're stalling at the 127% extension so I would say, yeah, if you're long, Russell 2000, you got to be a little careful here. Near range highs, fib extension of the last move lower. And let's take a real quick look at the DAX, which, the DAX has really been underperforming the US equity market. So again, NASDAQ's not far from its lows. As a matter of fact, we're getting close to the North American lows. And so maybe that ignites a little bit of profit taking in stocks and, can firm up the dollar. And you guys know how, again, I feel about the dollar. Oh, one last thing. Let's talk about crude. I sent out this chart this morning about crude hitting the 127% extension, descending trend line. I don't trade crude. I know like people like Pauly, he trades crude. To me, this is a good risk reward to be short. And I'm not saying that, if I was gonna, I'm not going to trade crude. It has to be some spectacular setup for me to even consider it, because I'm self-proclaimed probably the worst crude oil trader around. But if I were trading crude actively, I'd be like, well, it's not bad risk reward to be on the short side, right? Anyway, again, just some food for thought. I want to say thank you all for supporting us, and tomorrow hopefully will be more exciting. And then also the next couple of weeks, I'm really excited for the summer to be over, for liquidity to come back. I think it's going to be a bazonkers fall. I think we're going to get a lot of volatility. I think there's going to be a lot of shifting in interest rate expectations, which is good for currency market volatility. So that's what I'm really, really looking for this fall. So you guys have a great one. Thank you so much for your support as always. And Andrea says, thank you, Blake. Have a great one. You do the same. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on the Face webinar, or I'll see you in the chat room. So have a good one. Thanks, everyone.